Hey folks, this is Graham, a fellow Hindenburg narrator with you in the same community as you. You may be super frustrated as to some very basic stuff as to how do I cut, how do I paste, how do I insert, how do I get started in the very beginning with my project without being so frustrated downstream after I've recorded 20,000 words. That's what I'm going to help with today. It's just the beginning processes. And I will do some follow-up videos that really go into further depth about how to edit, but I've got to square up how my microphone will stop muting me when I'm in Hindenburg Narrator and stop my recording when I'm doing this screen capture. So anyways, let's get into it. All right, so here we are. Everybody knows this is one of the most frustrating things ever on the planet when it comes to Hindenburg Narrator. You sign in, you go to support, you go to guides, and look at this. It's 207 effing videos. They're not organized in any way that I don't know. And there's new, open, save as, import, export selection. Yeah, you're importing a doc. But is there a section in here that tells you exactly how you need to set up your document before you even think of importing it? I don't know. Let's back up. Also, when you import a document, do you know how to do that? It's a document, right? It's a DOC, .doc. It has to be a DOC, right? Everybody's on ACX, I imagine. Right here. And if you've never downloaded Hindenburg Narrator, you go to hindenburg.com. Where is it? Right here? Hindenburg.com. And then there's products in here. And then you can download them. You can get a trial. This is like $15 or $16 a month. What I like about Hindenburg Narrator, and I've only used Audacity in addition to this, but it was 22 years ago. What I love about this program is that, it was less than that, sorry, it was about 16 years ago. Anyways, using this, it's so easy because I can read stuff as I go, but it's very important to organize that document so it's easy for you to read while you're doing it. All right, once again, acx.com. Let's say you want to do an audition. You click on audition. You're going to find the audition script right here. If it's written in blue, it's hyperlinked. It's going to take you to either a PDF, which you're going to have to convert into doc, or it's going to be a doc, and then you're going to import it into Narrator. But before you do that, you want to go into Word. I'm not going to download this particular audition script. I'm going to show you a monster project that I've been working on that really could cause you a lot of headaches. Really, big time. So let's open up Word. This is my next book I'm working on. I just finished a 100,000 page book. This is Heal, the 6 Elements of Healing. This is the author's version. As you can look to the left, this navigation bar over here mimics exactly what you're going to see in Narrator. Essentially, it's Word embedded in Narrator, because when I try to open up another Word document, it doesn't work if I've got Narrator open. So I think it's borrowing the guts of Word, in my opinion. I could be wrong. So this is going to be my document, and I'm going to just scroll things down to, proper fonts. So we're going to do opening credits, because we know we need an opening credits and we need a closing credits for Audible, right? You also need to put something in here like, by the author. So Randall Hansen, PhD, read by Brandon. All right, this is done, but not really. I got to go to opening credits, and I got to make this heading 1. Look at what I did over here. I brought my heading out. So now I got to go through the entire document because this is unnavigable, right? We need it. We need it for us. What I'll also do, I don't need all this extraneous stuff, so I'm just going to go up in here. I'm going to kind of delete this stuff. I don't need it. All right. I don't need the table of contents. I don't need this in my manuscript while I'm reading. All right. So I'm going to delete that. Bring up author's note. I'm going to highlight author's note. Heading 1. I'm going to go through the entire document. All right. Introduction. Heading 1. You see the pattern here. I hope you're doing this with your documents. If you go in through the manuscript editing feature in Narrator, it just is a can of worms. I don't like it. I know they say you can edit documents in there. Not really. Not like you can in Word. So you could put notes in here. You can highlight, or you can't highlight, but you could put little notes in here for yourself. If you wanted to, you could put in parentheses, don't read this, but read it like this. Anyways, you see the pattern here. Off to the left, it's starting to organize everything into the fashion that we want it to be organized. Okay? And there it is. Now you can button these up, right? Doesn't matter in Word. We don't care about Word. But what we want to do is get a navigable Word document first. Let's get out of here. Let's go to Hindenburg Narrator. All right. This is an old project of mine that I was working on. And I just want to show you an example how I screwed up in the beginning. I didn't organize this thing right? This was the title, but I should have called this opening credits. Part 1, I took out the author's note and introduction because I couldn't get them to be seen as a heading within the manuscript editor. I couldn't do that. I couldn't reverse engineer it, so to speak. So I'm just showing you kind of the stuff I went through. I had to record author's note and introduction separate, doing the new and then recording another. And then I just extracted the author's note, put it in as a separate document and recorded it, and then extracted it via the ACX extract tool, which is up here. Export for ACX. And I would just highlight those little sections and do that. That was a pain. I've got it all figured out in this next one. Let's see, right? You want to know a little bit of editing features? Obviously, I don't have this armed right now because as soon as I arm this, the microphone will shut off on this tutorial. Don't want to do that. People are asking, how do you do edits on the fly? Well, you hold your left mouse button down up here in this navigation bar, this black area. This is where you got to do it. And you can navigate from left to right. If you move it back to the left, that creates another green navigator, and then you can have your red to the right. So if you wanted to start on the right, let's say, and move backwards, it would work in that fashion and then create a green and red for you. Anyways, let's say I don't like this section. I can click record selection if that's armed, and when I click record selection, it will do a pre-read coming in, giving me the right tone and everything, and then I match it through my new selection. Let's say I just didn't like the way it sounded, or I was rushed, or I took too many breaths and I just didn't want to individually get out all the breaths. I could do it quicker if I just read the whole section all over again. That's how you do it. I mean, it's in and out. Those are your out and in markers right there. It's so easy. Now, I went back in and I put markers for myself when I was doing later edits for different sections, and I didn't really need to do that, but that's because I didn't have my document rightly organized. I think somebody was complaining about having the noise levels. I went in on my, I don't know if you're using any of these, like the apply profile. It's got a generic profile on here, but I had it learn my profile, and then I named it Graham, and then I click on it, and it gets applied to this, right? You can see it up here, profiling narration, and now it's in there. It was applied before, and then I go into the effects, and then I had compressor, noise reduction, equalizer, voice profiler. I didn't need this. You had the voice profiler and you needed that, but the equalizer, noise reduction, compressor, and those are individually like right here. Okay. I moved these to areas where I could just kind of look at them. Once I set it, I was done. I like this waveform for my voice. Compression, not too much compression. A little bit of noise reduction because my blanket fort seems to be pretty insulated and well done. Anyways, oh yeah, I wanted to show you something else. I know this is also embedded in those little nuggets. This is a great thing to do in your favorites. So one of the things I had to do when I was sloppy in how I lined everything up, and I'll get to the next book and how it looks when we import it, but I didn't have introduction. So I recorded introduction separately. I put it into my favorites, and then this favorites bar will stay with, let's say you had 6 projects open. That favorites will work on all 6 projects. Or if you close out that project and you only had the new one up, well, all your favorites are going to have the introduction from the last book if you save that as a favorite. Or room tone of 3 different varieties. I have 1 second, 1 second noisy, and then 2 seconds, a little bit longer. I do recommend that once you get your blanket fort or whatever your dream studio put in, it's soundproof, record a couple of seconds of just unanalyzed room tone, put your filters through it, and then you got some nice quiet spaces you can import into here. So let's say, like at this section right here, let me move my my marker right here, and I want to import room tone in here. Just right click on it, insert it. I've got room tone in there. This is a long book, right? It's 832. So there, I just inserted room tone. I can get rid of that by pressing Control Z, and I'm back to where I was. Control Z is your friend up to a point. You don't want to keep pressing Control Z. You can delete your whole project. But I use it on instances like that, kind of like oh poop moments. I think you guys do know how to put in splits, right? I mean, it's B. You cut around where the tape is. Like, let's say this is this little anomaly. Let's say I don't like this anomaly right here, this little thing sticking up. I put B right here and then I highlight the section. I can right click and I can cut it, and it brings our manuscript, or brings our waveform together with all the markers where they need to be. If I don't like that, I like that in there. I just press Control Z and that's undone. I can go Control Z again, and I'm removing those splits. So Control Z is very powerful. Let's see what my new document looks like now that it's all cleaned up. So here it is. I've cleaned up that copy of Heal. Do not want to save this. Now look at what this did for me. Opening credits, author's note, introduction, part 1. If you're an expert with branches and leaves, put some comments down below, maybe a link to a video on how to use the branch leaf feature. Not done by Jonathan, but maybe by you. Or you can instruct me how to do it, and I'll make a video of it once I learn branch and leaf. But this right here, I crushed 98,000 words in something like a week. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go through opening credits. I'm going to record this little section right here, right, up to my last name, and then I'm going to skip ahead to author's note. I'm going to knock this whole section out. I'm going to do the same thing with introduction. I'm going to export all three, like when I'm done with it in another day, using, you know, our file export for ACX, blah, blah, blah. I'd be done with 3 files. Done. They've been edited. They've been sound checked. Audible likes it. Done. Now I can go into my project and start uploading those things to ACX so the author can see the progress by which I'm going. Anyways, why didn't we just get a video on that when we first started, right? That's what this video is all about. And I'm going to do further videos to help anybody using Navigator from a linear mindset point of view. I hope this has been helpful. I know this would have helped me a lot. But anyways, I really appreciate your time. I hope you guys are having a wonderful holiday season, and best of luck on your audiobooks, and leave some comments if this was helpful. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.